Alright, so on to the next video. So I just saved my material. Last thing we just did was put the number 15 over here. And in the previous video, I think I was just squaring the value. Um, whichever technique gets you to boost the color over here works. So now that we have this, the pattern of the noise is repeating itself too much. So we need to go back in here, and it's the UVs of that one texture that we're going to change now. So we're pretty much going to create everything we have here. So let's just actually copy and paste all of this. But it's not going to be called alpha, and this, yeah, we should give a name to this. We just call it param, which is the default value. We should call this noise. Now if we go in here, we're simply going to replace the word alpha with noise. So we get noise X tiling, noise Y tiling, and then over here noise X offset and noise Y offset. So if we plug this here, we don't want to use the alpha offset, but or actually we don't need to have two boxes of this either, because just one of them can control all of them. We're simply going to plug this over here in the UVs, and let's save. And after it's done saving, we're going to change the tiling of the noise. And you're going to see an instant result, a very big upgrade. Like right now, the X tiling, maybe it's fine, but we want to change the Y tiling. So if we scale this down, oh, it doesn't update in real time. That's a shame. If we put 0.5, this is taking a long time, but I think on the particle system, it's probably already updated. Would just give me control. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I put a 0.5 over here, and now the texture is stretched along the mesh, which gives something much more dynamic, much less noisy. And if we put it even lower to 0.25, we get the instant result over there. We get this really nice, what should I call it? Swoop. Sorry. So now that we have this really fine line, we can just tweak the numbers until we get something satisfying. This actually looks really great already, but if we want to look, maybe we could lower this to 0.5, or we could even put it to 5 if we want, so we get this sort of almost like a vinyl record. But I think 1 was actually good. Yeah, 1 looks pretty good. So we can just save this. Now the particle is kind of slow, but if we change the lifetime to something lower, say 0.5, and we just click, oh well, it's playing on loop. So you get this. Yeah, I like the effect. Looks like a proper slash of a sword. But you know, like something that would be even nicer is right now the color is always the same. Maybe we can make it so that the color shines brighter for a split second. You usually, like when you're actually working at an actual game doing these type of things, you usually want like the hit, like the hit frame is when you would like the sword slash to be bright. So we have color over life over here. Um, is it fading to transparent? Oh yeah, it was fading to transparent. We just like as it was swiping, it was also losing its alpha because of the color over life that we have by default. I think. Let me just confirm it. Did we plug the particle color in here? Yep. You can tell if we put 0.5, 0.5, it's a bit darker. The color is so bright that we still see it, but 0.1 gets you this effect over here. So so yeah, this is how bright it is. We don't want to control the alpha over life, but we want to control the color over life. So we're simply going to boost the color at a key moment. So let's make sure that the axes are locked. So it also works for a color. So we're gonna boost red, blue, red, green, and blue at the same time. So we don't have to bother with so many curves inside of the curve editor. So what we need to do, let's set the key to 0.5. So we're gonna need 3 keys for this. We want the color to get super bright and then go back to a darker tone. So 1 key at the beginning, 1 key at the middle, 1 key at the end. So let's create a new key, and I'm just gonna move this up, and I'm gonna display my curves. So this is the color curve. Right now it goes from 0 to 1 to 0. We want 0.5 so that we have a key at 0.5 over here, and 1 so that we have 1 key at the end over there. And we want the color to be at least at 1, but at the middle, what if we tried something like 20? There you go. You get this very shiny effect. We could work with the curve to do something a bit more dynamic. So if we click this over here and we click auto so that we can get a handle over there, we can lower it like this. And same thing here, let's put it to auto. And this one needs to be set to break so that we can have a very sharp key like this. And I guess 0.5 is still a long time for this swipe to appear. 0.25 might be too short. 0.35. 0.35 looks fine. And what happens if we move our key? Maybe like this. Yeah, I think I like it like that. So now we've got one instance of our slash happening. The color is already pretty good. I know that in the original video that I did, I was showing that there was actually 3 layers to this, but I guess that's fine. And what we can do is just for fun, we can put the spawn rate higher, and then in initial mesh rotation, let's actually give it a second initial mesh rotation so that we don't lose this one. So rotation, initial mesh rotation. Let's disable this one. And yeah, now that we have random values, we are getting something interesting. But let's just make sure that Z is always set to 0 and 1 as well. So now we have a random value in X. Depending on the type of depending on the randomness, we get something that is sort of repeating itself. But you know what? Let's spawn it to 20. Oh yeah, this is that's like some super high level tier sword attack going on over there. But yeah, I guess, you know, if we change also this to 0.1 and minus 0.1, maybe 0.2. Is it the right axis that we... No, it's changing over there. It's rotating that way, and I would like it to rotate on the Z. Oh, you know what? We can lock X and, not X and Z, but Y and Z. Instead of 0.2, let's just put it to 0.1. I think this will get us something that is going a bit... I don't know. 0.2. I'm just trying to get like some of them to be curved that way and the other ones to be curved outwards. Yeah, to have them all curved outwards. But I guess the pivot point is wrong or something. Where's the pivot point of this? It's right there at the center. I would like them to be sort of like this, and then like this. Maybe if I click none. Well, anyway, we're getting something. You can always set values manually yourself for all three of the slashes that we get. So yeah, we have this. There's something else that I want to show you regarding the material. This is gonna be quick. Let's disable this again. Put it back there. Set the spawn rate to 1 again. It's in the material. Right now, every time it spawns, we're always seeing exactly the same thing. But we could make it so that the texture over here is at a different position every time it spawns, so that if you have two of the slashes side by side, they will always, or most likely always, be different. Except for a chance of 1 in 100, maybe they'll be the same. But the way to do this is to, again, use the dynamic parameter to control the offset of that texture. But instead of animating the offset from like 1 to -1, we're gonna give it a random value inside of the particle system. So we can simply click add over here. We're gonna add the green channel in here to our X, and we're also going to add it to our Y. So the offset will be moving diagonally in both axes. So we'll call this one noise offset. And we can click save, and that's all there is to it. Oh, you know what? Adding both X and Y individually like this is exactly the same as appending them together and adding them afterwards, because they're being added by the same value. So we can do it like this. It's a sort of optimization. Whenever you're doing shaders, if you can cut down on the number of different calculations to get to the same result, do it. Because you have to think that for every pixel that you see on screen, all of this math that we're doing everywhere is being applied for each of those pixels. So we just saved like one math formula over here. So if we go in dynamic, we had the alpha offset over there. And now if we open up our second key, it says param2 because we need to click refresh, and now we get the actual word noise offset. And now here what we need to do is it's set to a float constant, but we need to set it to a float uniform so that it picks a random value between what we'll enter in here. So minimum 0, maximum set it to 1. Now it looks weird, it looks like it's moving, and this is because what's going on is that at every frame it's choosing a new value for this. So we need to check the option spawn time only. So I don't know, I can see it. Every time the slash happens, the lines are a bit different. And that will be it for this video.